Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Quirky Learns to Climb the High Shelf and Creates a Beautiful Mess. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Every morning in our house begins quietly. Sunlight slipping through the curtains, soft sounds of the city waking up outside, and Quirky, my small, curious cat, sitting on the floor like a tiny statue with bright, wondering eyes. Quirky isn't the kind of cat who sleeps all day. He studies the world. He observes everything. Nothing in the house escapes his attention. Not the sound of keys, not the rustle of plastic bags, not even the slow movement of dust floating in the sunlight. But one thing had always fascinated him more than anything else: the high shelf. It wasn't just any shelf. It was the tallest shelf in the living room, filled with books, small decorations, old photo frames, tiny potted plants, and random objects I had collected over the years. To Quirky, it looked like a mysterious mountain of treasures. He would sit beneath it every day, staring up, tilting his head left and right, as if trying to solve a puzzle only he could see. I often caught him calculating his jumps. First, he would look at the chair, then the table, then the shelf, then back to the chair. His tail would flick slowly, his ears would twitch, and his body would lower into that focused, hunter-like posture. It was adorable and hilarious at the same time. He wasn't hunting prey. He was hunting possibility. Don't even think about it, Quirky. I would laugh, pretending to scold him. Of course, Quirky never listened. That afternoon, I was working on my laptop, half focused, half dreaming, when I heard a strange sound. Thump, scrape, tap, tap, tap. I turned around. There he was. Quirky had placed one paw on the chair, then another. His back legs pushed gently. He climbed onto the chair, paused, and looked at me with wide, proud eyes, as if to say, "Human, I have discovered something important." Then he turned toward the table. Slowly, carefully. One paw, two paws, a small jump. Now he was standing on the table. My heart stopped. I whispered, "Quirky, no." But he didn't look back. His eyes were locked on the high shelf like it was the top of a mountain. His body tensed. And then, he jumped. Time slowed down. Quirky flew through the air in a beautiful, clumsy arc of fur and courage. For half a second, he looked like a tiny superhero. For the other half, he looked like a flying mistake. His front paws touched the edge of the shelf. But the shelf was higher than he expected. His back legs didn't make it. His claws slipped. And then, chaos. A book fell. Then another. A small plant tipped over. A photo frame crashed. A wooden decoration rolled. A soft bang. A loud crash. A rain of objects. And in the middle of it all, Quirky. He disappeared behind falling books and objects like a tiny cat trapped in a cartoon disaster. When the noise finally stopped, the room was silent. Too silent. I rushed over, heart pounding. Quirky. From behind a fallen book, a small furry head slowly appeared. Two big eyes, tiny ears, a slightly messy face, a little nose covered in dust. He wasn't hurt. He was just shocked. He looked at the mess. Then he looked at me. Then he sat down, right in the middle of the chaos. His tail wrapped around his paws. His expression said everything. I regret nothing, but I am also deeply confused. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Not a normal laugh. One of those laughs that comes from love, relief, and pure ridiculousness. "Quirky," I said softly, kneeling down. "What were you trying to do?" He blinked, slowly, then walked toward me, and rubbed his head against my leg. Apology accepted. I started picking things up. Quirky followed me everywhere, stepping on fallen books, sniffing the broken plant pot, inspecting each object like a tiny supervisor. Every time I picked something up, he touched it with his paw, as if helping. The shelf was messy. The room was messy. But my heart felt full. Because this wasn't destruction. This was curiosity. This was courage. This was a small animal trying to understand a big world. That night, Quirky didn't try to climb again. Instead, he slept next to me, closer than usual, as if saying, "Maybe the shelf can wait. You are safe ground." That day, Quirky didn't just create a mess in the living room. He created a quiet, powerful reminder about life itself. Watching him try, fail, and calmly returned to me made me realize how similar animals and humans truly are. We both feel curiosity. We both want to reach things that seem too high, too far, too difficult. Sometimes we jump before we are ready. Sometimes we fall. Sometimes we create chaos. But falling doesn't mean failure. It means learning. Quirky didn't stop being curious. He didn't stop exploring. He just learned where safety and love were. From him, I learned that mistakes don't define us. Our courage to try does. In daily life, we often fear failure, embarrassment, or making a mess. But growth is messy. Learning is messy. Becoming better is messy. So the lesson is simple. Create safe spaces for yourself and for others to try, to fail, and to grow. Be patient with animals, with people, and with yourself. Offer understanding instead of anger. Love instead of control. Support instead of fear. When humans and animals live with kindness, trust, and patience, everyday life becomes more gentle, more meaningful, and more beautiful. Just like a small cat who dared to climb too high and taught a human how to live softer.